Hello there, everybody. Jerry Miles here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at making Sancho jump. Um, yeah, so basically that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start off right here on the website. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this character motor script. So I'm going to right-click on this and do a save link as, and I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can find it really quick and easy. Just save it there to my desktop. And once I've got that down, I'm finished with the browser. So back here in my Sancho project, I've got Sancho out here in my scene. I've got my game view over here so I can kind of see both of these at the same time. So let's go ahead and import this script. So I'll bring up my File Explorer, go to Downloads, not Downloads, I put it on my desktop, didn't I? And I'll grab this character motor script and just drag it over here into my project and let go of it on my scripts folder. And it's going to go through, and you can see we got this little spinny thing down here. And basically, that's Unity compiling the script and getting it ready to use and everything. Okay, so we've got it in there. We're good to go. Let's grab Sancho, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of minimize my rotation and my movement state machines. So that way I have more room here to drag components. So I'll drag my character motor out here. So here's my character motor script. I really don't need to do much with this. We will tweak this base height and extra height here in just a little bit. But first we need to get this essentially working. So I'm going to go with add component and not a button. I don't know what I was doing with a button. Let's see. Scroll down, go to Playmaker and do a Playmaker FSM, Playmaker Finite State Machine. And I'm going to go ahead and specify some things right here. So I'm going to call this State Machine Jump. And I'm going to give it a description. Controls the jumping mechanic of the player's character. All right, looks pretty good there. Okay, so yeah, I'm ready to go on in and start editing this thing. And here in the edit, I'm going to go ahead and kind of blueprint what I want with this, and just put all my states out here, as well as all of my state transitions, and just get them set up. So I'm going to start off with state 1 here. State 1, I'm going to call state 1 on ground. And I could provide a description here. Once again, I'm doing this this blueprinting idea here, just some design stuff. And I could say player is on the ground. No, Sancho is on the ground. That'd make more sense. Sancho is on the ground waiting for a player to press space bar or jump button. Okay, there we go. Now, whether I want to keep that there or not is a different case. I'm just putting something here to help me with my basic design work so that I can kind of visualize stuff. Let's see, can I do enter there? Let's make this a little bit easier to read even. I'll do an enter there, and I think maybe one there. Yeah, that looks fine. There we go. Okay, this one is going to need an event. I'm going to create a start event. Maybe start jump might make more sense. Start jump event. So I'll call it start jump. I'm going to right click on this, add transition, start jump. Okay, off and running. So let's right click over here and add another state. And this one is going to be start animations. Or it could be start jump. But start animations kind of helps me follow it along a little bit better. And what this one is going to do is play the starting jump animation and set the script to know we are jumping. There we go. So that's what's going on there. It's going to have a basic finished. So let's do add transition finished. I'll drop you down here, pull you over here. There we go. And then I'm going to want another state. Let's do right click, add state. And this state is going to be while the player is in the air. The player is flying. So let's kind of think this through here. So this one, all this does is wait for the space bar. This one starts playing a jump animation and also sets the script to launch Sancho up in the air. This one is just waiting, is just doing the processing of while we're in the air. What do we want to do and when do we stop being in the air? So this one will handle waiting for player, player, to land on the ground again. There you go. So that's what that state is going to do. It is going to need its own event of landed. So I'll go over there to events and add a landed event. Right click here. Let's do add transition landed. So finished from there will come down to here. And then I'm going to right click add state. And this final state is going to be reset, refresh, finalize, something like that. This is responsible for, responsible for returning back to default condition. Let's say that. Back to default condition, we'll say. Yeah, default condition sounds good. It's going to have a finish transition. Zoop. Up there. Oh, come on. There we go. And this landed will go over there. Okay, so I've ballparked in my scripts, or not my scripts, my states here. I've got some little comments here. Do I need them? Well, that's entirely up to you. But as I drew it on my piece of paper, and then as I'm pulling it in here, I'm just putting my notes in here so I can keep track of what it is I'm trying to do. Also, later on, if anybody were to work with this, they would appreciate any comments that I might put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and construct. Let's go to on ground. We're going to start here. So it is waiting for the player to press the spacebar. So let's go action browser. I want a get button action. Let's see, specifically a get button down. So I'm going to throw that guy out there. Boom, there it goes. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where I want to position things on my screen here. Oh well, I'm just going to put you over here for now. So used to working with multiple monitors, kind of miss it. Okay, so get button down. What button do I care about? Well, the button I care about is the jump button. I'm going to send a start jump event like so, and I'm not going to store this anywhere. So that looks pretty good. We got that action. Our next action is where we're actually going to use that script. So let me move things around a little bit better so I can see here. There we go. All right, so I need this character motor script right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this character motor script and drag it over here and let go. And once I do that, I get two options. I get a set property and a get property. For right now, I want to use a set property. And the set property I'm going to be doing, I do a set property, is actually going to be, let me see if I've got this going in here correctly. Set property. Let's see. Character motor script. What am I looking for? Grounded. There we go. That's the property I'm looking for. I'm looking for the grounded property. No, I'm not. Sorry. Grounded I'm going to deal with down here. I'm looking for the input jump property. And what this property is it's something within that script that if it's true, then that means the player wants to jump. And if it's false, then that means the player does not want to jump. And so if we set that to be true, then that script is going to start doing whatever has to be done for jumping. If we set it to false and it's not. So if we're in this state, I want to make sure that my input jump is set to false. I don't have to do it every frame. I only have to do it the first time I enter this state. I could put this over into my reset. Either place, this will work. My reset is actually going to have something very specific in it, but either place I could do this. And to kind of think ahead, what the reset is actually going to do is it's going to reset my movement state machine, because otherwise Sancho won't necessarily go back into playing his idle animation. It's a really interesting thing, and I'll show you when we get there. Okay, so I've got my property set to input jump. We're setting it to false, not every frame. Okay, so far we're doing pretty good here. So let's drop down to our start animation. That's going to be my next one. First thing I want to do here is I want to do another set property. So let's grab that character motor script, drag it over here, and let go, and do another set property right there. And the property I want to set this time is still input jump, but it's going to be set to true. So now you can see why I might have to separate these things out, because I'm setting the input jump property here to true, which means that I can't really be looping through doing too much testing here. I mean, I can, but my actions are going to get really convoluted in there. So it's a little bit better to separate these things out. So I'm turning that on to true. And the last thing I want to do in this one is play a little animation. So let's go Action Browser. Let's go with Play Animation. There it is. And the animation I'm going to want to play, well, it's in the owner. That's true. It's going to be, let's see, I mean, I got options here, but I'm going to go with the jump fly. When this animation is finished, I'm going to go ahead and do my finished transition. I'm not going to loop it. I'm not going to stop on exit. So let's go ahead and even put that down below there. There you go. That looks good. And by setting this to true right here, that's going to cause this script that we've attached to Sancho, it's going to cause that script to force Sancho to start going up, jumping. We have other ways. Other ways we could do this. I could put a rigid body out here and apply physics. Rigid bodies and character controllers can have issues with each other, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to use this character motor script. And this character motor script is from an older version of Unity, which is why you have to download it, because it's no longer in Unity 5. The version in Unity 5 has changed how these properties that I'm using, how they are accessible. And I don't know if there's a workaround for that. If anybody knows one way or the other, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'd love to know if there's another way to do this, or potentially a better way. And a third option for jumping is actually to have your character in the animations to move up as they're jumping, and then we can just have that moving up through our animators, which is really nice, makes it a lot easier. But Sancho wasn't built that way. He was built for older animation styles, so we're kind of stuck with that. All right, so I've got that, and I've got that. So what I kind of want to do is I just want to see what is working. Am I doing anything yet? Is this kind of working? So let's play. Sancho, are you here? He should drop down. There he goes. Okay, so he's on the ground. It kind of looks like his feet aren't really touching, though, doesn't it? Let's zoom in here. I would swear that he's just a little bit above the ground. Let's see. I want to get rid of this Hutong Games UI right there. That should be the Playmaker GUI. Let's do that. It was not. I would have sworn that was it. Come up here. Oh, gizmos. Where's my gizmos? There's my gizmos. Here we go. I turn these guys off. There they are. Just so that I can see that a little bit better. I really don't think he's touching. If you look back here, you can see where the base of the yellow thing is. I don't think Sancho is actually touching the ground, and you can kind of see it right here. However, he thinks he's touching the ground because he has... Nope, come back here. Boink. Because he has colliders on him. And let's find... So we've got that capsule collider. Let's move Sancho up just a little bit and see how he responds to this. Sancho, come on up. What are you going to do if I move you up? Stop. Okay, so he immediately drops back down. Let me pause this so I can move him easier. And let him drop. There you go. So he falls back down. So do we have any colliders floating around somewhere? I don't see any. He should be further down, but he's not. And colliders really causing my problem here. Let's, where's my collider? It's over here. Oops, I didn't mean to do it that way. I've also got this character controller. Let's play around with this character controller. I see that both of these are set the same, which they probably should be. Let me try tweaking these just a little bit, though. Let me drop this height down to 0.5. 0.5. Not really what I wanted. Okay, so he is not. Oh, I'm not. The game's not playing. It's one of those mornings. Yeah, the game's not playing. Okay. Now, let me try changing these. Bye. Come back down in a minute. See, his feet are much closer down there. I'm going to leave this at 55, though. See how his feet are lining up a whole lot better down there? Whereas when this was at 0.55, see, the feet and shadow weren't quite right. So I'm just adjusting the height of my character controller. And yeah, I like that. That looks to me better. I feel better about that. Okay, so I want to put that back to 0.5. There we go. And some of this stuff, some of these testing, we actually do this as we're developing, but a lot of testing is done, it can be done later on. And there's parts of this project where I've actually intentionally left in bugs for us to play around with when we get to the chapter on debugging things. Okay, so what I wanted to test. Right, the whole point of all that. So Sancho's down there. I'm going to hit the space bar. What happens? And he jumps. And you see he played that animation. He comes back down. But nothing happens, right? And it shouldn't because we're stuck down here. We did this, and then we came down here, and nothing else is happening. All right, so those two states are doing what I want. So let's go on and look at our next one. So my next one is going to be fly. I want Sancho to fly. Let's see here. What do I need in fly? Well, one thing I'm going to want is I need to disable some stuff. So I'm going to go to my enable FSM. And the one that I actually want to disable is going to be, well, let me see. Do I want to disable anything? You know what? I don't think I do. I was thinking about disabling rotate. That's what I was thinking, so that he can't spin while he's in the air. But then I'm like, oh, why? I mean, what do I care if he spins in the air? So yeah, let's. I'm going to remove that. Yeah, he can spin. That's fine. And I need the movement because the movement is controlling any potential. If the player was running when he started jumping, well, the movement is controlling that continuation of movement. So all I need to do is just find out when I land on the ground. Two ways to do this. I'm going to show the way that I did it in the book. So I'm going to grab the character motor script and pull it over here. Do a get property. And the property I'm after is this grounded property. And that grounded property simply is testing every frame to see when the character controller is back on the ground. And I'm going to store this in a new variable, and I'm going to call this is grounded. And I'm going to create that. And I'm going to do this every frame. Okay. And then I'm going to do an action browser. Oh, it's over there. I'm going to do a test bool, which is going to allow me to be looking at that Boolean value that we just stored right there. The bool value I want to be testing is grounds. Really, did I call it is grounds? Wonderful. Is grounded. There we go. Is grounded. Okay, that's better than is grounds. Is grounded. If this is true, we're going to go to our landed event, our landed transition. We're going to test this every frame. That's all I needed to do there. Yeah. So let me kind of come back here. If I have all of this in one, right? So we're going to start jumping, but immediately after we start jumping, we're going to test to see if we're on the ground. Well, we're still on the ground. We haven't left the ground, so this is true. We're out. We're done. So you really needed to separate those two out, and you can kind of see that there. Now, I mentioned there's another way to do this. Playmaker actually has a is grounded. Yeah, controller is grounded. They actually have one of these. So rather than getting the property out of that script, I can do a controller is grounded, use owner. If it's true, I'm going to do my landed event. I could store it. I really don't need to, but there. So same thing, okay? So there's two different approaches. So the one that was in the book, let me do it this way. Boink. So here's the one from the book, and here's just a single playmaker action. Okay, so either one should work. Let's go back to this one. All right, so now we should land. Good. Let's see what's happening. How are we doing? Wait, come back over here. Let's do some stuff. Let's jump. Okay, everything seems to be going pretty well. Okay, why are you waving in the air, Sancho? Quit being weird. Let's run. Aha! There's my problem. I was telling you that we're gonna have a problem. It's not when we're just standing here idling. The problem comes out when we're running and we jump and we stay there. We never go back to our movement animation. All right, so you can kind of see the problem there. So let's fix that. So an easy fix for that is going to be right here in our reset. We're just going to do something really quick in there. We will do a enable FSM. And the FSM we're going to enable is going to be movement. We're going to turn it off, but then when we exit this, we're going to turn it back on. So by turning it back on, it's going to then detect our movement. So let's see what this does. All right. So I'm going to back up a little bit, and then I'm going to run. See, and you see how it detected it. But notice I got a couple bounces there before it did it because I bounced and then I went back up into the air. So I wasn't really done jumping. Now we can tweak those things with these base height and extra height values. So you can get whatever you might want. Maybe you want that kind of jumping. Let's say I drop my extra height down to 1 and see the difference here. It doesn't go up as high. And let's see what happens with our bounce. See, I don't get my bounce now. Which one do you want? Well, it's up to you. I mean, what are you wanting to do with your game? Let me see. I'm going to increase my base height to maybe a 2. So now he jumps higher, but he still lands. And it's a little stuttery when he goes back to his walk or movement animation. But it's not really the end of the world for this particular project. There we go. All right, so we are now jumping. And all of that's working pretty nice. So if you have any questions on this, there it goes. So if you have any questions on this, just feel free to send me an email, drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them and help you guys out with this process. Otherwise, have a good day, and I don't know, I probably won't talk to you guys later, but have a good day. Bye-bye.